As most people know, Zimbabwe has been through just a hellish few years, and I'm really sick of going to PSI-sponsored events and getting the tongue clucks, like, oh, you're in Zimbabwe. Well, I thought that now that things have stabilized here in the country, that what a great way to portray to the PSI universe that PSI Zimbabwe is back in business, and we want to be among the first of the Lawson implementers to demonstrate that.
Well, the first thing is the need for a new system, for an ERP system, was a felt need among our senior managers and our procurement staff and our accounting staff before Lawson came to us. So introducing Lawson as a concept was very easy because our team was hungry for it. It also came at a period when SFH has been in a growth spurt. We went from $8 million a year to $13 million a year to $25 million a year in 2009. So all of our internal systems were strained. Our warehouse system was strained, our accounting team was strained, our procurement system was strained. So we needed a tool to help us.
Traditionally, if you look at paper-based systems, one of the biggest downfalls is that we can't track, we can't trace documentation. There's people headlessly running around looking for paper, trying to track the different sorts of bits of paper. There's no information running through our system at all. With Lawson, we actually get online real-time visibility of all our transaction processing. We can track exactly what our costs against our different programs are. We can track expenditure. We can track turnaround time. We can track productivity across the entire environment. And for the first time, it actually puts us in a position to start tracking various performance indicators.
I would say that it's something that we have to do. We all have to be on the same system, and just know that it's worth it at the end of the day.
The first thing is proper planning and schedule. And you need to know when do you want the program to start, what are the requirements and development, what do you need the program to do for you.
It came down to it. We had 1 month to do our business needs analysis and prepare for Lawson before training began. That was a push.
As his analysis is a description of how the platform operates currently. How does it really work? I mean, how do you move, how do you do your procurement, for example? How does it relate with finance? How do the rest of the other functions come in?
As far as the implementation costs are concerned, for me it's been a very minimal fee to pay on such a huge implementation. Normally you carry huge burdensome costs on such implementation, but what we did was we did the training in-house, so we set up training rooms on site that catered for 20 trainees at a time. The PSI consultants, who've been fabulous, and I mean, some of them working directly with PSI and some of them contracted to Lawson itself, did a fabulous job. Some of them spent late nights in the building with us trying to get this implemented. The South African resources, as far as SFH is concerned, spent nights in the building. They spent weekends here trying to assist with the implementation itself. So all-round commitment was there. Our executive and management team also came to the party and really supported this process going through. So from an implementation cost, we spent a minimal amount of money. Even the computers we used on the training process is future appointment of staff that we redeployed computers across. We did 2 makeshift training rooms that also brought down our costs. We tried to cut back on things like catering and stuff like it. So from an implementation cost point of view, it was absolutely cost effective.
The initial training is very important, especially on change management, to prepare staff on what changes to expect and how they will do business differently with Lawson.
I was informed about the training schedule, but not everyone took it as serious as it was, because some people assumed this was just training which would take 5 minutes. But it meant being trained in all the modules that you'd use in the work scenario. We trained in a dummy company before we went live.
Just come with an open mind and say, I want to learn, and feel free to ask questions, because it's a new thing. You need to be asking questions. You need to make sure that you grab as much as you can, So just be open-minded and say, I want to do this.
The only thing you need to know is that ask the rollout team all the questions.
There's a cutover, which we prepared for. Don Fest, our colleague in Kenya, had warned us about that. We basically shut down procurement and finance for 3 weeks. We were really well prepared for that. What we failed also to prepare for adequately was the backlog that creates and the frustration level of procurement and finance people with what they perceive to be failing to do their job. They're doing their job just fine. It's just that now they've got a backlog of 3 weeks worth of stuff to deal with. So that was another thing in terms of timing, rollout, preparation that was really important for us.
Most positive things that has come out of it from the programming side is that managers now have up-to-date burn rates. We didn't have that before. We'd have to wait 30 days and sometimes longer and not really certain about all of the burn rates. So
what's happening is, all the regional offices can now enter their information. Previously, it would mean that information would have to be, data would be moved from the regions and bring it to the head office. So it means people have to be at the head office, work, awkward hours. But now at 5:30, people in the finance office are able to go home. Previously, they will have to go up to 9, even sometimes burn midnight candles. Closing is no longer a big issue, as it were. People don't have to burn midnight oil to close the financials because things are being put in right at real time, and so it helps them to have a life. So in terms of finance people having a life, I think that's very tangible.
So my advice, I think, to the senior teams of any of the platforms that are rolling out is to really sit down and understand what this change means for each of your teams and take the time to help them understand how their life is going to change with this, help them transition through those changes, and give support to all of those different functioning teams that need it.
In hindsight, we could have learned from is the fact that there are platforms who've gone before us, and there are certain lessons that they learned, which we sort of got a feel of through the trainers, but I think it would have been beneficial to have direct contact with our colleagues in the respective areas, and hence it would have made the process perhaps less challenging, and we could have had perhaps some forewarning in terms of the workload and how to schedule our work prior to the training.
Technical aspects of Lawson are easy. Don't be afraid of the technical aspects of Lawson. If you can operate your email, if you can operate Excel, if your staff can do that, you can operate Lawson. It's not that hard. So don't be afraid of that. That was the first big fear that I had and that our staff had. Plan and prepare. You cannot prepare for the workload. It's just a sheer workload that's heading your way. So during that training period and during the first couple months or first month, we're now in our 3rd, 4th week of Lawson, there's a volume of work for your staff that they've never encountered before. So help to prepare them for that. Plan on rewarding them for it.
If I need to convey one thing that's probably crucial that everybody should know before they embark on the process is that, yes, there's a bit of streamlining, and yes, you're going to get real-time reports, of course, and that's wonderful. But, it's not going to cut paperwork completely away. You're still going to have to affix your signature to various documents and the like. And, there's still processes of approving, that aren't just going to be magically taken care of with a click of the button. It is an interactive, extremely modern tool that we're implementing, but it's not magic. There's still a lot of a human level of effort that will be involved in the Lawson process.
Well, thank you so much for your comments.
it's like looking down the barrel of a gun and it goes off. And how come all these words? Oh, there's a very pleasant side to you, a side I much prefer. It's one that's